We hear a lot about how arts in schools help our kids grow. Well, how about arts in prisons? The University of Denver's Prison Arts Initiative works with prisoners to improve the quality of their lives while behind bars, which hopefully will help them make positive changes in their communities after they're released. Well, as it turns out, it's a life-changing opportunity for many of those who are involved in this program.
We have, differences, gang banging, whatever it is, crimes, there's certain crimes that are looked down upon. But when they're a part of this, that has to change. That's where the line is no longer there. It gets erased, and we come together for the greater good.
It's a fascinating program, and this program isn't just about putting on plays or other performances. In fact, there's now a podcast hosted by prisoners, and Ashley Hamilton, the founder and director of the Prison Arts Initiative, and Dean Williams, the executive director of Colorado's Department of Corrections, join me to talk about the podcast and how the program works. Why did you start this? What did you hope to accomplish here?
No, that's a great question. So I've been doing prison arts and education work for almost a decade now, and have been really moved over the last almost 10 years to see the power of what it means to be involved in the arts while serving time inside. It's a really transformative and powerful tool that I think can really support the system as it shifts and changes and grows. And I just really believe in the power of the arts and what they can, the vehicle of the arts and what they can and do inside.
And Dean, you're new to our Department of Corrections, so what did you think about this program? Was that something that you at first said, wait, I want to know more about this?
I'm enthusiastically on board. And the reason why is arts is one component of sort of normalizing the prison environment. The problem with prison, excuse me, is that it's a place of starkness and idleness, and nothing good happens in that environment. It's like with our kids, to be quite frank. And so arts behind the walls, doing podcasts, doing theater, those are things that are right up our agenda in terms of how we're transforming the prison system.
Because I suspect that there's some pushback that people say these people are in prison, they should not have any rights to do anything. Have you seen that at all?
Well, a little bit, but I understand the feeling of that, but here's the facts. 95% of the people are coming home, and there's nothing to be benefited from having an environment that is more stark or more harsh than it necessarily is. It doesn't help us any as a community to make us safer, to make a place of prison a place of idleness without purpose, without meaning. And theater and arts is one component of putting purpose back into that time.
As you can certainly see it in their faces when you're watching them perform, that this, and some of the inmates even spoke about how it was always their secret desire. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that as Mr. Williams said, prison is a place where folks tend to lose a lot of hope. And I think for people who maybe aren't connected to people in the system, especially, we're really interested in sort of shifting the conversation about who's inside, which is why we have created within the podcast that we have. But also more generally speaking, that the arts can really be used as a way for folks to sort of build more hope, and also to really think about who they are and where they want to go and who they want to be.
What are they talking about? And do you put limits on this? I mean, is there any concern about mixing some of the inmates? And you were interviewed as well. So what are some of those conversations?
I mean, we do a really good job of, the part we do pretty well of this is maintaining security, and I have a bunch of staff whose only job is to be, quite frankly, thinking about that all the time. So I wasn't worried about any of that. And I think the podcast is a great example of putting inmates, basically, with Ashley's good help, putting inmates in charge of the project and what happens when you come out of it. And I've listened to another podcast. There's another podcast that's done out of another prison in another state. But I think it's the quality, the background, the thoughtfulness that's done into it. I mean, it's real. It's a bit raw at times, but it's real about the people who have gone there and what's happened to them and what's transformative about what can happen there, what also can go wrong there, quite frankly. And it's interesting as they interview people behind the walls and me and others about what it means, what should prison look like, and what are we trying to get out of that entire system. And so in some ways, that podcast really asks questions about what we think we're getting and what kind of results we're getting.
What should we be getting? What should we be getting? I don't know. What is the answer?
Well, I think one of the things we should be getting is a better results, and we should be getting less people returning to prison than we're going right now. Does this podcast, does arts and theater accomplish all that? No, of course not. But it is one tool in a larger expanding toolbox of what we want behind the walls. And those experiences are transformative. And the more opportunities that we can present like that, the better off we're going to be. Quite frankly, the safer off we will all be when they get out.
So you really think this is more about the greater good?
Absolutely.
Eventually.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I think that, to your question of, pushback and that sort of thing, I think about for the 90 or 95% of folks who are going to be coming home, do we want people who have engaged during their time inside in meaningful experiences, whether that's the arts or something else? Folks who have really reflected on who they are, their skill set, what they want to bring to society. And then, as Mr. Williams said, this is just one way that we can do that. But I definitely think that the larger aim is for the greater public good. That's our larger intention.
And we have just about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to let you have the last word on this. Is this something that will stay? Is this something you're comfortable with?
Well, everything that Ashley and I, as well as many other partners, are doing are designed for sustainability. This isn't flash in the pan. This is the next trajectory of how we're going to have more purpose-driven, results-driven prison system. And these kinds of programs I want beyond my tenure. And so everything we're setting in place, I have a whole bunch of team, my whole team, we all are all vetting all the efforts that we're doing. So this is about sustainability.
Very interesting. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And Within is available on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. You can also download and listen at thisiswithin.com. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.